Good morning, class. How are you all? Good. Today we are going to look at the theory of production. But before that, let's go over what we did the last time we met. The last time we talked about factors of production. I said factors of production refers to all those input or resources that are used to produce goods and services to satisfy human wants. I mentioned to you land, labor, capital, and then the entrepreneur. I said the entrepreneur combines these factors of production to produce goods and services. I also mentioned that land is a natural resource, which means it is not given by man. The reward for land is rent or royalties. I also said labor refers to all human efforts that are used to produce goods and services. I mentioned to you that we have two main types of labor, skilled labor and then unskilled labor. And then the reward for labor too is what? Wages and then salaries. I said capital refers to all man-made resources or artificial resources that are also used to produce goods and services. And then we came to the entrepreneur. I said the entrepreneur combines these factors of production to produce goods and services. And then the reward for the entrepreneur is profit. Let's move on to today's topic. Today we are going to look at the theory of production. Okay, it is on the board. The theory of production. The theory of production is concerned with how a firm or producer combines these input I have already mentioned to produce goods and services. So we are going to look at these major means of production. Let's look at the meaning of production first. Production simply means converting raw materials to produce goods and services. We can also say production simply means we convert input into output. So we are going to look at how the firm or a producer will convert all these input to come out with output. Before that, let's look at time periods in production. Time periods in production. We have three main time periods in production. We have three main time periods in production. We have the short run period, the long run period, and then the market period. When we talk about short run period, it is a period in production whereby at least one input in production is fixed and then the other is variable. And then when we look at long run period in production simply means it is a period in production where all the input of production are variable. It simply means we can change all resources that are used directly in production of goods and services. And then in the market period, supply of commodities are fixed. We can't change the quantities of goods and services that are presented to the market for sale. It means we can change the input, but we can't change the output. I hope it's clear. Good. Now let's look at some terms related to short run period in production. So we are going to take short run period in production. Let's look at some terms related to short run periods in production. We shall look at fixed inputs. Fixed inputs. The first one is fixed input. And then variable input. When we talk about fixed inputs refers to all those inputs that do not change during production process. It simply means you can't vary the fixed input that are used directly for production of goods and services. An example of a fixed input is land. Now, variable input. When we talk about variable input simply means they are all those inputs that varies during production process. It means we can change the quantities of what? Those inputs to produce goods and services, either in the short run or in the long run. Okay? So an example of a variable input is labor. Now we move on to total product. When we talk about total products means all those quantities of outputs that are produced within a production process. And then the formula for total products, we have 4 formulas for total product. 1, total product is equal to average product multiplied by labor. You know that labor helps us to produce goods and services. Another formula for total product is summation of marginal products. Then we can also say total product is total product previous plus marginal product current. Total product previous plus marginal product current. This means that if you want to calculate for total output or total product, when third labor was employed, you are going to add previous total product, which is the second labor employed, plus the current marginal products at that level of employment. So TP3 is equal to TP2, which is the previous total product, plus marginal product, the current one. Okay? Now, there's another formula for total product, but at your level, let's look at these ones. Now, let's move on to average products. AP. If you look at this formula, the first one, total product is equal to average product multiplied by labor. So if you want average product, you make average product the subject. So we can say average product is equal to total product divided by labor, the unit of the variable factor employed. Okay? Now, when we talk about average product, it simply means total product produced per unit of the variable factor, which is the labor employed. We shall do some examples or calculate some examples, then you get to know how it is calculated. Now let's move on to the marginal products. Marginal products, MP. In economics, marginal product is MP. Wherever you see MP, is marginal product. Marginal product is the additional product produced where you employ one extra unit of the variable factor, which is the labor. So, marginal product is simply change in total product over change in quantity of the variable factor labor employed. So this can be rewritten as, this one can be rewritten as total product current minus total product previous divided by labor current minus labor previous. We shall take some examples, you understand. Okay, so with these formulas, we are going to take one example and see how they are calculated, and then we will get to know how the total product will be increasing, how the average product will be increasing, marginal product will be increasing. Now let's take a try question. Try question. I hope I can clean the board. So let's look at the table on the board. This is just a schedule showing variable factor, which is labor, average product, total product, and marginal product. You've been given some quantities of the variable factor, which is labor, and then average product, total product, and marginal product. We are asked to copy and complete the table. It means you have to rewrite this table again, and then you fill in the gaps. And then we have to calculate for average product, total product, and marginal product. Now let's look at how we can compute for average product when the fourth unit of the variable factor was employed. So average product. I said average product is total product divided by labor. It is the total output produced per unit of the variable factor. So if you want to calculate for average product when the fourth unit of labor was employed, so you write AP4, meaning fourth variable factor employed. If you want to calculate for average product when the fourth variable factor is employed, it means you have to look on the table, total product, when the fourth unit of the variable factor was employed. And then you substitute them into the formula. So total product, when fourth unit of labor was employed, was 28 units. And then the quantity of labor employed is 4. So if you want average product when fourth unit of labor was employed, 28 divided by 4, you get what? 28 divided by 4, let's see what you will get. 28 divided by 4, you get 7. So since average product is just talking about quantities of commodities or output produced, your figure or your final answer is going to be in units, 7 units. Okay, now average products when the fifth labor was employed, it is going to be total product divided by the variable factor. So total product when fifth labor was employed was 45 divided by 5. This will give you what? You get 5, right? 5. You get what? 9. So 9 units. Okay? So the average product when the fifth variable factor was employed is 9 units. Now let's move on to average product 6 when the sixth variable factor was employed. So it is total product divided by the variable factor. So 60 divided by 6, you get 10 units. I hope it's clear. Good. Now let's move on to total product. Total product. I gave you 4 formulas in calculating for total products. Look at the question carefully. You can't use all the formulas to calculate for total product. You look at the table and then the appropriate formula you are going to use to calculate for total product. Here we can use average product multiplied by the variable factor. So average product multiplied by the variable factor, which is labor. Okay, so if you want to calculate for total products, when the first variable factor was employed, TP1, it is going to be average product 1, which is 4, divided by the variable factor, the first unit of the variable factor. So 4 multiplied by 1, you are going to get 4 units. Okay, average total product is average product multiplied by the variable quantities. So total product at 1 unit, average product multiplied by the variable factor, you get 4 units. Now total product 2, it is going to be average product 2 multiplied by the variable factor 2. So total product 2 here is going to be average product multiplied by the variable factor. So it's going to be 5 multiplied by 2. You get 10 units. Okay, and then the next one, total product 3, TP3, is going to be average product 3 multiplied by the variable factor 3. So if you look on the board, total product at this column, you multiply the average product by what? The variable factor. So it's going to be 6 multiplied by 3. Then you get 18 units. 18 units. Now we have finished with total products. Now let's move on to marginal products. Marginal products. I said marginal product is the change in total product. Change in total product over change in the variable factor, which is labor. Okay, variable factor here is referring to labor. So if you want marginal product 1, it means you have to rewrite this formula again. Total product 1 minus total product 0. And then labor 1 minus labor 0. The TP1 here means current total product minus previous total product. And then L1 here is the current variable factor over there and then the previous. So let's substitute them in. Now, the current total product here is what we calculated for. We had 4 units. So 4 minus the previous, we don't know. So we put 0 there. Divided by current variable factor, which is labor. It is 1. And then 1. And then the previous labor, we don't know. We put 0 there. So 4 minus 0, you get 4. 1 minus 0, you get 1. So 4 divided by 1, we get 4 units. Okay? You get 4 units. Now let's look at marginal product 2. Marginal product 2 is going to be total product 2 minus the previous total product. The current total product here 2 is 10 minus the previous one, which is 4, divided by the current labor, divided by the current variable factor 2 minus the previous one. So this one will give you 6 over 1. And then your marginal product will be 6 units. I want you to continue with the rest. So today we have talked about the theory of production. You know the concept under the theory of production. If you want more information, go to my website. Okay, go to the website www.internetstudymate.com. You have a full note on the theory of production. So you get more notes on this topic. So today I'll say good morning to the class.